That's the first question on there, which is, how do we grow our dance without offending others? Okay? And then you just pass it like down the road.
How do we grow the dance without offending others? This is something that, this is a cool question because I've been working on this. And what I started doing is, what I did was I set up a nonprofit. I have a flow motion for-profit and nonprofit. My nonprofit is for my youth program. I do a free youth program. So the revenue that I get from my adult classes, I shift that into my nonprofit, and I provide free classes for kids. Because the age demographic that I usually go for is middle to elementary. Okay, cool. Middle to elementary, because oftentimes by the time they hit high school, they're kind of into their own thing. And I experimented. I did a class with middle to high school, and then I did a class for just high school. And I got most participation from middle school because parents are still involved in that age. So my strategy is, okay, I'm gonna focus on that age group because I'm getting larger participation. Plus, what it'll do is it'll introduce them to it before they even get to high school. So it's something that they'll be able to carry on. Kids, trends, things trend with kids. So another one of the things that I did was some of the kids that I had developed and I had put them in competition and things of that nature, I allowed them to come and start assisting in class. So we started to get that peer-to-peer teaching. So I started to try to, because they look at me as an old guy. So I try to remove myself. I may teach for 30 minutes, but the rest of the time is theirs. So I try to remove myself so they can start taking ownership of the dance. Once that happens, it's done. They're gonna carry it on. So that's my thought.
Clearly, in order for the dance to progress and grow, we've got to get young people involved. It's just like everything else. If you watch football, the reason they have pump, pass, and kick is to get young people involved. The same thing with soccer and baseball. Young people must get involved at an early age in order for what you're teaching to grow. One of the things that I think that would help tremendously is if you can get dance in the schools. It's so important to get it in schools. And you want to get it into schools in a structural fashion. And you can talk about, do we get stepping in school, do we get hand dance in school, I think you get dance in schools. I think you teach young people how to dance, because in each of the dances that we're talking about, the same steps occur. The same steps occur. In stepping, it's a double and two syncopated triples. In hand dance, it's a double and two triples. In Houston two-step, it's a double and two triples. In Dallas swing out, it's a double and two triples. In Milwaukee bop, it's a double and two triples. In Philly bop, it's a double and two triples. All of those dances have the same principal steps. If you get the steps in the schools, then you give the students enough foundation that they can branch out where they want, right? And then it will cross over. And now all the student has to do is say, in this dance, I apply those steps in this fashion. And in this dance, I apply them in this fashion. So the student now becomes much broader in their ability to understand the steps. This is a true story. In the third grade, I was 8 years old. That was 68 years ago. 69 years ago, I don't know. My teacher, I was in Catholic school, my nun had us learn how to do the waltz in the third grade. I still remember how to do that waltz, and I don't do it at all. Step, 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 step. In the third grade. And that's when that stuff sticks, because they tell you from from kindergarten to third, fourth grade is when the students retain the best. Teach them the fundamentals of dance and how the dance relates to the music. Because it doesn't matter if it was Louis Armstrong or Jay-Z. They're dancing to 4/4 time music. Teach them how to dance to the music that we listen to. And then all of a sudden, it starts to grow because the interest has peaked at an early age. And I think that's the way to go. But you got to structure, because you know you can't go into schools where these people got degrees. And when these people have these degrees, they know what's kind of things that they do. And you're not coming in my school if you don't have some kind of certification. That's what they're going to tell you, right? So get it structured, get it in the schools, and I think growth is inevitable.
I don't know who I'm representing here. My name is Audrey, but let me first of all say that I agree with everything that's been said on this panel because it's crucial. If you want, well, first of all, I have a question about the question. The question was, how can we grow the dance without offending others? I'm trying to figure out who's offended. I'm sorry, but that does not register with me with something that we're calling dance. Everything we're doing is 4/4 time, and all of it, regardless of what you call what you do, is a form of swing. It is. So I don't understand how one dance can be offended by another dance. That doesn't make sense. In terms of growth of the dance and capturing the attention of our young people, I learned how to bop from my mother, and she was cold with it. And I didn't realize how important that was to me until my mother took me to a social event where there were adults, and she put me on the dance floor. And after we were done, the response that we got from the audience, that's all I needed to hear was a few applause. I was hooked. You gotta make this thing cool to these students, right? You have to give them a reason to want to be engaged with it. The way we do that, I think, is I remember reading about the cotillions and the balls, and that being part of a rite of passage for men and women in our communities. We don't do that anymore. Why don't we do that anymore? I agree that if you're going to take this to public schools, you have to do what the public schools do. You are certified and accredited in everything that you offer to these schools. So once we put these programs together, we have to make sure that we're credentialed and we have the right to speak to these programs, and then you take it to the schools and you offer it. Once you offer it, you have to convince those folks at these schools that what you have is worth them taking advantage of. That's my opinion. As far as who's offended, I really need some folks to let that go so we can all enjoy what we call dance. It's kind of a misnomer to talk about dance and then we be mad at somebody or upset with somebody about dance. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Okay, so I'm going to follow up that with the following question that ties into what was just mentioned on this panel. And that question is, where do we see our dance if we don't involve the youth? Where do we see our dance if we don't involve the youth? And we're going to start with Victor.
2 minutes. Keep it 2 minutes, please. No more than 2 minutes.
Dead. Moving right along.
Pretty much the same. It'll survive in small pockets. It'll be in small pockets. And the thing about it is, we really want. I think we should seek national recognition for what it is that we do. And if we don't do this, it's just not going to happen. And it really relies on the people who practice the dance. Right? You gotta practice it, you gotta move it on, you gotta sell it, you gotta bring people along. Otherwise, there will be a burial in place.
Not much to say. That's it. It'll die out. It's not really anything to really think too deeply about. Anything that you don't progress, anything that you don't continue to pour into and advance in guys. So it's a simple answer.
And with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to open up this floor for questions. We're going to allow you to ask your question to the panel. We're going to keep the questions at a minimum because I know we are very pressed for time. So each panelist will have a couple minutes to answer your question. But does anyone have any specific question that they would like to ask this panel?
Yes, as I've expressed on several occasions, the idea of going international with the dance and taking ourselves abroad. We need friends around the world. This will do it. So what is the plan to do so? I've heard people say that there's some, we're getting plenty of hits on YouTube and what have you. And personally, I just think we need to go beyond America and start seeking our freedom.
Okay, what is your question?
International.
So your question is, how do we take the dance international? All right, we're going to start with you, Jay.
How to take the dance international? That's interesting because I guess me personally, I'm still thinking about U.S. We're not. You know what I mean? You know how do you build a house without a foundation? I feel like our foundation is still weak. We haven't even began to build the way we should here. You know, I mean, events like this does it, but we need more. You know, we're talking about just having our future, let alone going international. You know, let's establish a future and then start building, you know, international. Let's take care of our home first before we start going international. Now, you'll go internet. There's been interest internationally. I think we've all had videos that's gone viral and things of that nature that's gotten attention internationally. I've had people inbox me from other countries from my videos and things of that nature that's interested in learning, you know, whatever it is I do. And I think that's cool. But for me, that's not my priority. My priority is home. You know, and we still have a lot of work to do at home. You know, nothing against international, that's great, we need that. Eventually, for me, my assignment is home right now.
Well, I think the international possibilities at this point will happen more or less on an individual basis. Right? People see the stuff, they contact you, and individuals are able to go internationally. I think you guys saw Marcus and Trent do a demonstration. They literally dance all over the world. They go to Europe, they go to China, they go to France, and they dance. But that's on an individual basis. On a collective basis, as an organization, I think we need to be considerably more organized than we are currently as a group in order for us to go to an international level. Because right now, the only thing that's going to happen, somebody will get a call, somebody will get an email, somebody will get an invite, and presentations will occur. But after that, it kind of dies. It takes a while. It takes organization. It takes commitment in order to put that together. Because people tend to want to know credentials. I mean, even we do that. Right? Somebody said, you ought to take this person's class. And I said, well, what do they teach? Where they're from? Right? So I want to know something about them before I take a class from them. And the same thing happens across the board, but on a larger scale when you're talking internationally. So I I don't think it's anything that you don't attempt to do, but a little bit like Jay said, you gotta walk that road a little bit before we go there, right? But it's achievable, you know. Yeah, and also we have to decide, do we really want to do that as a collective group?
I don't know if well, some of you may know, I've gotten a little international recognition as a result of videos that I have on YouTube. But I also have students taking online instruction internationally. I have them in the UK, I have them in France, I have them in Russia, I have them in Spain. I have, as of today, 3,807 online students taking free online Chicago stepping instruction as a result of them having seen the videos. So I guess I must be one of those individuals. But in terms of how we take it international, I can tell you that as a result of that endeavor, I've been approached by people in Nigeria, a gentleman in, I can't even pronounce the name of the city, in France. And so what I'm trying to do right now is determine the viability of any of those options based on what the folks are presenting to me. And then the question becomes, am I positioned to be able to take advantage of those international opportunities? So, should that become the case, stay tuned. But my plan is to break out of the box. And how much time I got? I got 32 seconds. I'll tell you what. Mine is simple. First time I saw this dance, I fell in love with it. I don't know if you folks can relate to how you feel when you fall in love. That's how this dance hit me. And all I'm ever going to do is respect this dance, love this dance, nurture this dance, and care for this dance. So that means there's certain things you won't see me do. There'll be certain things you won't see me be a part of, because I know where I want this dance to go. And I want it to go there because I love it.
That's right.
All right, we have time for one more question, I believe. We have time for one more.
Hey, Eric, we did go to London and stepped out.
That's right.
Yes, we did. Yeah, I remember that.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, my man.
And we had a good time too.
All right, we got a question in the back.
I have a question, I have a comment. My whole thing is, like Brad said, Norma made us promise before she died that we need to teach this dance to them. One of the things, wow, young people, even when they learn the dance, DC was the first, DC and Baltimore was the first to take a group of kids to the U.S. Open, which was the biggest ball in this country on Thanksgiving weekend, and it was an effort. We need money, we need fundraisers to give to our kids. Parents can't afford to do this until all of these groups get together and provide to help our kids. They took almost 30 kids to California for a whole weekend. It was a great experience. Watch the whites and the blacks and the Lindy hoppers and the hand dancers and the swing out dancing together. Didn't matter what color they were. It was the best weekend of my life to see this happen. Me and Brad lobbied for almost 4 years to get a hand dance category in the U.S. Open. We met this lady named Martin, and they put this category in it. But because we could not afford to send out kids every year, because the flight is $1,000. The hotel during the Thanksgiving weekend is $1,000. Who can afford to do that? So, as a group, all of you dancers that are here, teach our kids, but also sponsor these kids. That's what we gotta do. We gotta sponsor our kids to travel, to do things to represent us. Before I close my eyes, we're gonna have kids
Okay, real quick, before, Ms. Shirley, 1 second. For those of you that did not get a chance to eat, they're gonna close the, Station 2 in 10, 15 minutes. So please, if you want something to eat, there's more fruit and food, get it now because they're gonna close down shortly. All righty? Thank you. I'm sorry, Eric.
Go ahead.
When are we all gonna get together? This is my question.
Raise your hand.
Whether you step forward, swing out, whatever, Lindy Hop, and pull us all together to do one big affair. That's my question.
One minute for each person, and then we
I
go.
appreciate the question because I feel the same way. I've been in, probably compared to these guys, I'm a baby. I've been dancing for maybe 11, 12 years. I've been teaching. But one of the things that I see is, I know that there's been a lot of, throughout the history that I've learned in the dance community, there's been a lot of division based upon the style of dance you do.
Yeah.
Which, for me, that sounds ridiculous. Especially grown people. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I grew up with that kind of stuff, but it just blew my mind. Cause like I said, I'm new to the community. I'm like, you don't hang out with that person because they don't do your dance. That's the depth of it. And unfortunately, that's real. Grown people. That's like, it blows my mind. But anyway, I got 10 seconds. The thing about it is this. For me, I ignore it. And I'm gonna say this, I say this all the time. There's only certain events that I go to. If it does not represent the black spectrum, I don't go. I don't go. Somebody might not like me like that, for that, cool. But it has to represent us all. I'm talking about every part of the country. I like what you're doing because what you're doing is you're bringing together different styles of African American dance which belongs to our entire community. I'm not from Chicago, but I'm black, so Chicago step belong to me. You know what I mean? You may not necessarily be from Houston, but Houston two-step is a black dance, and you blacks they belong to you. Every one of these dances belong to every last one, and anybody say the same, they throw. I'm through.
Definitely, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say 10 seconds. I didn't tell you the name of my dance. And I was a little derelict in my duty. It's called Suave.
We don't even have to put Rico on the front of that. Just call it Suave. I made you forget the question. Okay, I got it. How do we all come together? Or when will we come together? I promise you, I sat on a panel after an event that Sandra gave, what was it, 2-3 years ago? We had that exact same question. I'm going to give you the exact same answer. We will get together and do what it is we should be doing as a community after we all get therapy. Because we're all walking around here damaged goods and some of us don't even know it. And here it is, we got beef with somebody about something that means absolutely nothing when it's all said and done. And you would think that being in the midst of a pandemic that we would get things straight in our minds and set our priorities right and get right with one another, but we still haven't learned that lesson. Y'all can pass the production play, say it in, but if I step on your toes, it is what it is. People, we don't have a whole lot of time left. And if you're on the backside of 50, I'm sorry, you head downhill with me. I'll be 65 in January. I ain't got time to play. Be right, get right, do right. That's when we will get it together and make it happen. You gotta love who you are, you gotta love what you do, and I don't care how you slice it, if you do not respect humanity, and I don't care what color you are, If you do not respect humanity, you're done for it anyway. And this brother here ain't got no time for you. Therapy.
You got one more.
Sandra, how many more questions do we have time for? I'm gonna ask.
We're going to take these two and then we're going to call it. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm a grandmother of a 9-year-old. He loves watching his grandmother dance. My question to you is, once we teach these 9, 10, 12, 13-year-olds how to dance, where will they go to enjoy themselves? Because my 9-year-old is not going to come to the VFW, the Elks Lodge, to dance with old folks.
No, that's right. That's right.
They're not. So this is the question I'm asking: where would these children go on a, like maybe once a week, twice a week, where they're honing their skills and being around kids their own age?
Okay.
Let me simplify that for you. They will go where you take them. They will go to the environment that you make for them. Listen, folks, innovation is not new to us. How long have we as black folk been having to do because we didn't have it to do it with? But somehow or another, we made it happen. What I'm saying is, I feel what you're saying, but if you live in an apartment complex, they got a clubhouse. If you got a school where they have after-school programs, they can give you I don't care if it's a janitor's closet, but you figure out how to make the space to give it to the children and let them see you actively working to pursue something for them, they'll help you find a spot to make it happen.
Targeting that group of people together to do that.
What group? The 10-year-olds?
No, I'm telling you, you're talking about the children plus the adults to
Okay.
get this group together. Now, mind you, I live in Stafford, Virginia,
Okay.
which, majority whites, Hispanic, so forth, so on.
Okay.
So it's harder trying to blend in all those different groups in order to pull this together. So when you were saying, well, I can bring my grandson with me, but when my grandson is with me at the Elks or the VFW, he's just gonna look at me like, Grandma, I'm not coming back here anymore.
Does your grandson have friends?
I mean, yeah, he has friends. Yes,
But he loves dancing with you.
absolutely.
Would he bring his friends to you?
And that's the thing, I don't know.
Try that.
At this last question.
I think it goes back to what you were saying before, that we need to bring back some of those events that we have for children. Those coming out parties. Remember the cotillion. There was a lot of things that some of us who are of the age and
Yes,
60
ma'am.
above, we remember those type of activities growing up. And we had those social
We
environments.
did.
As young people, we had a place to go and dance.
Right.
We can create that again, but we have to do it as a collective. National Hand Dance Association. I don't know what Stepper International Group or two-step, but we need to get together.
We need
as
to
a
do it,
collective
absolutely.
And start putting these events out in our communities again. Because we're doing things like Shirley said, DC Public Schools, we've had dancing in the schools. We've had dancing in Baltimore, but if you don't have a community to support it and back it, that's when things fall apart. But again, a lot of things happen because of the pandemic.
Okay, hold on. Let me take this down just a hot second. Let me give Jay before real quick. Hold your pause just for a hot second.
Okay, kind of more so on what you were talking about. Whatever. If you're talking solution, because I'm not philosophical. I'm solution based. And the thing about it is this: when you start talking about kids and things of that nature, you have to create the environment. Once you create the environment and they're part of that, you have to make sure that the kids are part of that creation process. And allow them, you have to create a space, like you were saying, you have to create a space because the adults are the ones that have the ability and the power to get facilities, exactly, and the resources to get the facilities and things of that nature. So you do your part. Okay, the other part is for the kids. The kids, when you start having these programs and things of that nature for the kids, make sure they're a part of it, make sure it's not an adult thing, because a lot of times adults adults, we infuse ourselves too much in kids' business, you know, and, you know, we want to control an area. We can't control everything because you have to allow them to, you know, to be comfortable in their culture, not ours. You know, and I think once you do that and you start to, you know, just give them an opportunity, give them the space, and move out of the way, but give them that space. And the thing about it is, I think it's hard because there's not an existing community for it. So it's something that has to be built. And no, it's not an easy process. It's not something that, you know, you don't snap your fingers. It's not an easy question just to answer and boom, it's done. It's not
Right,
gonna go
it's
like
not
that.
that easy, exactly.
It's not realistic.
Right.
You know, I can make it feel good, but it's not.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to put in the work, and it's going to take time to build. It don't just happen. You have to build it. So it's not going to start off with a gang of kids. It might start off with a few, but you build on that. That's how you do it.
All right, and I think we're just about done. How many more questions? we have?
Yeah, this is the last one, but, yeah, and then we have to close off, but,
I got a comment.
Okay, let me get short and smooth that I get to the movie.
It's gonna change when y'all get ready to start hand dancing and stepping to trap music and shit. You can't like the kids.
I've heard many people say it is in the music for the young people today.
So if y'all ready, we got a couple of parties started in a few minutes.
Okay, so we only have a few minutes, so I'm gonna have the last comment coming from over here. All right, I'm gonna try to give your attention over here for a hot second.
The thing is that we have to be open-minded to new creations, because when people are coming up now, they want to be creative just like we were creative, like we created this. You got people that's got new energy, that wants to put things and add things to things. You know, but if you got people that shut it down because it's, oh, we didn't do that before, this is something we didn't do before. So you're not open-minded enough to look at that, what that person is doing. It could add and enhance what you already have. So I think being open-minded to some of the new things that's coming up, you know, it will probably broader everything and everybody will come together instead of just put, you know, young people want to be, they want to show their action, they want to be creative. But, you know, they're not going to be creative if we're going to stay in our own way and you're not going to accept some of the new things that they do, you know. So they're going to be like, oh no, we don't want that. Because the fact is that we want to be creative, we want to be hyped, we want to get involved. But they can't get involved if you don't let them actually add some things to whatever you already have.
That's a good point. And that was the time. That's
it, last question.
Okay, I'm gonna end it here. Okay, I see you in the back. Go ahead. Give me your comment.
So, it's all about change and advancing the dance. Like, what she was saying with the young people, you know, we hear these older people not showing the young people respect with their talent. I mean, you really have to appreciate what advancement young people are bringing to the dance. Their creativity is what's going to change and cause evolvement in the dance. And if you don't respect that, you're going to lose that crowd.
And on that comment, I'm going to call up Sandra Mason. Sandra, come on up. But I'll add my own comment in there. What we're doing in Chicago, a gentleman by the name of William Barnes, he's doing this now. He is all about the music. He said, I don't want to dance to the Shy Lights and the Delphonics anymore. I want to dance to some Tupac and some Biggie every once in a while.
Call it what it is.
Sometimes the music can make a big difference too.
No, Aaron. He said he don't want to dance to no old ass Dusty.
That's really what he said. He said he does not want to dance to any old ass Dusty anymore. All right, Sandra.
Yeah, but if we keep playing that music around their children, they'll want to dance to it. I mean, that's what we've done, right? What our parents listen to. They're all great questions and solutions. Definitely have to continue to work through it. Before we go, we're going to make it real quick, and I mean 30 seconds just to introduce who you are. This is Jay Owens. Just give me your institution and all that good stuff, and we'll move on to Brad. A quick second.
I'm Jay Owens, founder, lead instructor, Flow Motion Dance Association, Houston, Texas. Our primary dance that we teach is Houston two-step, which is ancient dance that started in the 30s. And of course, people like me, I relate to what you were saying because I was that young guy that was criticized, but If it don't evolve, it dies. So it evolved.
I'm Lawrence Bradford. Everybody says Brad. Founder, CEO of the Smooth and Easy Hand Dance Institute. We've been in business now for 30 years. Taught a little more than 10,000 people how to hand dance.
That's a lot.
Victor James, my organization is Artistic Motions. It is actually a business. I'm certified with the state of Indiana. I pay my taxes every year. And I've been in existence for the past 17 years.
Chicago Stephanie. All right. And I'm Sandra Mason. I got in the program 2002, certified 2007, so 14 years of business. And I am certified legal. You can look me up, and I do have my LLC. So anyway, those of you who have instructors, keep pushing the element, keep pushing to learn the questions that we're trying to get the answers to, and see if we can get it filled. We can take care of our children and continue to grow the environment as such. Once again, Eric Gordon, we thank you so much. He's going to tell you where he's from, and we're going to go from there, shorty smooth, and then we're going to start the music in a hot second. Here we go.
All right, my name is Eric Gordon. My company is called Rhythmic Elements Entertainment. I do Chicago-style stepping in terms of putting together events, but I also do a lot of contemporary jazz events. So I put some things together for that. I'm also a part of Infinity Emotions, which is a 501c3. We raise scholarship funds for kids in every state we go to. This year we're in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. You can look for me for information on that. And I'm also part of the Majestic Gents in Chicago, largest steppers organization in the city of Chicago.
All right, so we're ready to get back and dance. Once again, give everybody a round of applause. I really, really want to commend the staff that has been here. They work really good. I can't thank them enough. I mean, Rose and Antoinette, Sissy, D'Angelo, Alex, we didn't have a photographer, we went around and this, and we have Miss Gloria, we also have our husband, where's, not Gloria, husband, but we have, God dog it, we sit at 3 o'clock, I can't think of your name. It's not coming, but I know Dougie. Anyway, the Martin, Mr. and Mrs. Martin. And so thank you so much for all that you've done. Family, we thank you. You're number one in our heart. We couldn't do it without you. The DJs, DJ Shorty Smooth, DJ Figgy. DJ Bird couldn't make it because of his illness. Keep him in your prayers. He's going through a lot right now. We also had DJ Bobby. Where's DJ Bobby at? And DJ Victor James. God bless you, family. Safe travels when you go back. But dance till 4 o'clock, and then you get some Epsom salt and soak your feet. And then we'll talk with you soon. We love you so, so much. Thank you. We'll see you next year. God bless you.